332 BC, the island stronghold of Tyre, said to be invincible, is under attack. The only man with the audacity to attempt such a daring siege, Alexander the Great.
His ambition doesn't seem to have any bounds at all.
The moment is a crucial battle on Alexander's mission of conquest.
This is quite a brutal world, and you rule by might.
The key to the moment of victory will be the catapult, a machine designed to obliterate anything in its sights.
The catapult completely alters the nature of war.
But Alexander will need to get his catapults within striking distance to succeed, and his enemy is willing to fight to the last man. In the history of man, there are critical chapters that forge together a daring individual, a crucial situation, and an innovative technology. Fate's fusion of man, moment, machine. Hi, I'm Hunter Ellis. In 332 BC, Alexander the Great is on a mission to conquer the world. He already rules all of Greece, but now he's out to take the entire Persian Empire as well. When his army reaches the island city of Tyre, Alexander faces an enemy with a tremendous advantage. To have any hope of conquering the city, he'll need an ingenious plan and some serious firepower. Fortunately for him, he has both. The catapult is an essential tool that can help transform Alexander from courageous warrior into ruler of the ancient world. At Tyre, Alexander must overcome a walled enclave a half a mile from the mainland, protected by a fleet of ships and a fierce army. For Alexander, it's a critical battle in his conquest of the ancient world. Alexander believes it is his destiny to extend the Greek way of life to all the people of Asia.
Greeks have decided that there are just two types of people, them and everyone else is inferior to them. The Greeks actually had a word for it, which was barbarians.
For hundreds of years before Alexander, the Greeks championed ideas such as elective government and individual freedom. This is in sharp contrast to the other great regimes of the time, most notably the Persians.
The Greeks feel that everybody in Persia is a slave. In a sense, they are. They don't have the right to own private property. They don't have the right to freely express themselves. They're in some ways slaves to the great king.
In ideology and in warfare, the struggle between Persia and Greece has been ongoing for nearly 200 years. In 480 BC, the Persians invade Greece, destroying many holy sites in the process, including the Acropolis of Athens.
Anyone that invaded them was something they just didn't forget. This was something that was lingering in their mind for well over a century, these invasions. And the great battles that had taken place, the great loss, there was always this drive to come back and strike at Persia for what they had done.
Nearly 150 years later, in 336 BC, one man takes on the quest for revenge. He is Alexander the Great, and at only 20 years of age, he stands entirely in charge of the most feared army in the Greek world. In the next 13 years, he will lead his warriors on a march that will cover more than 11,000 miles across 3 continents.
He's been brought up to believe that the Persians are the enemy. They have, they've ransacked Greece in the past, and there's a score to be settled there, and he's the man to do it.
One of Alexander's most potent war machines is the catapult. At the time, it is known as the ballista, from the Greek word ballein, which means to throw. It uses the force of tension to launch 30-pound projectiles up to 150 yards at enemy fortifications.
Catapults introduced this new element to Greek military history that capital, science, technology now can win or lose a battle in a way that in the past it was just simply courage and personal strength and daring.
But Alexander sees even greater potential for the ballista and compels his engineers to improve catapult technology.
Most leaders were happy to use bows and arrows and spears. Alexander understood what engineers can do, and he fully exploited those engineers in his conquests.
His engineers devise a new and more powerful way of firing rocks and arrows by perfecting the use of torsion.
With the torsion catapult, you're projecting a bigger stone at higher velocities, and so you do more damage, and you use that sort of thing to knock down fortifications.
Now, to illustrate the difference between tension and torsion, I have a basic model of Alexander's catapult right here. Now, tension is like a slingshot. You pull back the bungee, the power is stored in the bungee itself, you release, there you go. Now, torsion is different because all the power is stored from these twisted bundles of rope here at the end. Now, it gives us a lot more power. So as I pull back, I can feel it start to build up. We can twist these bundles tighter to get more power out of it. It's hard to hold. As I release, boom, torsion catapult. May 334 BC. Alexander crosses the Hellespont, the body of water separating Europe from Asia. He is determined to defeat the powerful Persian king Darius III. By November 333 BC, Darius leads his Persian army to the coastal town of Issus to stop Alexander's advance. Greatly outnumbered, Alexander uses his military skill and the strength of his cavalry to break through enemy lines. Surrounded and with his top generals killed in battle, Darius panics and flees the battlefield. But instead of chasing Darius and his defeated army, Alexander heads south towards Egypt to secure his flank.
Which is absolutely key. It's on the far western flank of the Persian Empire. Nobody can, as it were, conquer the whole Persian Empire without conquering Egypt.
Alexander knows that to fully defeat Darius in the Persian Empire, he must destroy its powerful navy. His campaign strategy will take his army along the Mediterranean coast to capture the key Persian naval bases in what is now Turkey and the Middle East.
He has virtually disbanded his own fleet. He's decided that he's going to conquer the Persians' naval bases by land.
Alexander faces no resistance as he heads deeper into the Persian Empire. He easily takes control of Phoenician coastal cities that were allies of the Persians.
Abydos, Byblos, Sidon. All of them welcomed him and came over to his side. They deserted the Persian side. And it probably seemed to Alexander as though he was going to expect the same thing at Tyre as well.
But the island city of Tyre, the strongest Phoenician power with a population of at least 40,000, is a different story. Initially, the king's son and some noblemen greet Alexander warmly. But when he asks to worship at their altar of Heracles, he is rebuffed.
And there's this matter of principle. They don't want him to sacrifice to their god on the island. And that's what seems to have got him angry.
Palatzes! Malacca!
Alexander decides he will take the city by force. But before he does, he gives the Tyrians one last chance to cooperate. He sends unarmed messengers to the city to offer them an opportunity to surrender.
By this point, however, the Tyrians have decided no dice. It's all or nothing. And so they answer Alexander by taking the two envoys up to the walls, and in full view of all the Macedonians and all of their Phoenician allies, they cut the throats of these individuals and they toss them off the walls. That's a pretty stark answer, and it's not one that Alexander receives well.